Hi, I'm the rampant Islamophobia in my song, but it's okay because I'm white. Meme.
Hi, I'm the 10-piece colored pencil set that was used for random shit that probably wasn't even fucking Crayola, because it was probably some dumb, cheap shit. Pastel.
And I'm the problematic 4-part acapella song that nobody ever wants to hear again, Mikey.
Welcome to Meme Cuisine. I am very excited to have Mikey this week, who's taking a break from lip sync video review, just to be with us, obviously.
I'm very excited to be here as well. It's quite the honor to be on the better of the two podcasts. No offense, Blake.
We know that the better of the two podcasts is Intermission with Toni A Ward.
T.
But yeah, speaking of tea, we need to talk about last week and Pastel single-handedly sending giraffes home.
Yeah. Shit happens, man.
I want everybody to know that before we started this recording, Pastel was like, wait, I'm actually that popular for doing that? Like, it was absolutely wild because for some reason Pastel didn't think that he was going to be the icon, legend, and superstar of the season.
I'm the real winner of this season, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, that was, like, ringtone worthy, how good that spiel was.
I'm gonna try to make it into a ringtone now, actually, and I want everybody on the cast to use it as their only ringtone.
How the fuck can you turn that into a ringtone?
Easily.
Just screaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, was there any other surprises that you guys had last week? I thought the votes were pretty fair, from what I remember.
I'm not very much surprised about last week as I am this week with how you fig all got. I'm more surprised about this week, honestly. It's a little whack.
I thought overall the results were right last week. Nothing that jumped out at me as like, oh wow, that? No, yeah. It was all fine for me.
Yeah. I think this was the first week where I didn't even think about one person in the bottom necessarily like, I don't know if I would do that. So I hope that the votes continue that way, although I remember from season 5 where the votes as the season progressed, they got a little bit more and more weird as time, kept going. So hopefully that doesn't happen this season, although this week is going to be wild. Absolutely wild in the votes. I have no clue where it's going to go.
It's the first real toss-up week.
Yeah, I think that everybody agrees that there are a clear top half and a clear bottom half, but then nobody agrees where each video lands in that spectrum. So I'm interested to see how wildly different our opinions are going to be about this.
For sure.
So alrighty, let's get started. The first video that we had was Ianto, who did Bonnie and Clyde by Die Totenhosen. Okay. I hope I said that right, because I'm not German and can't say things correctly.
Alright, first question I want to ask, where the fuck do they live?
Germany.
Oh, you know what
I don't know how you didn't figure that out with them lip syncing in German.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Look, it's like 8 at night. Give me a break.
There's nowhere in the U.S. that looks quite like where he filmed. Like, there's nowhere that pretty here.
No, the U.S. is just Walmarts and McDonald's and Disney's.
Or that one weird theme park that you find in the middle of nowhere that's probably haunted, but we don't talk about those.
We call those Six Flags and they have a name.
Oh.
But yeah, what were you going to say about Ianto's video?
I'm honestly, I'm a bit, it went from, a really good video last week, that I saw was, pretty fucking good, to this week it was a little not that good. I thought it was honestly very dead in the face, but it was more towards the end where I kind of saw more, I saw it pick up a little bit more, and I was like, okay, that's a lot better, but why wasn't that in the entire song? But I will have to say that, the crime you portrayed in the video was very, very nicely done, That was pretty fucking good. but it was pretty dead in the face for most of it. Anyways, you could go.
I'm going to echo that idea of, like, the video being in two halves, because it really did feel like that. I didn't like the first half of your video, and I liked the second half of your video. And I like that, the crime you chose was very clear. I know what story you were going for, and the video editing helped the story move along, but didn't detract from the story itself. It was only an aid. But I think that the story was a little bit predictable. I wanted in some way for there to be a twist on Bonnie and Clyde, and not to talk about, like, later videos too early. But Boy Named Queen's video, I think, though the song gave it an advantage, he definitely did have that ability to really, like, mess with the Bonnie and Clyde idea that we've seen over and over again. I thought the song was way too long and repetitive, and then your mouth shapes. I know that you said that you knew that your mouth shapes were going to be a problem, and I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, you said something in the Discord about actually singing along to the song rather than just lip syncing. I would implore you to just start lip syncing, because especially the word that you were saying, which I believe was was the word that you were, like, messing up a lot. The way that you say it is completely different than the way that you would lip sync it. And that goes for a lot of different words, but that one in particular is one that you, like, have to call out for being very different mouth shape wise. And I think that definitely hurt your video.
Like, lip syncing is more exaggerated words and mouth movements.
Yeah, even if you're not campy, there's still more exaggeration than actual singing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that the problem is that when Ianto is singing along, I don't know that he's singing at full volume. It seems like it's kind of just, like, in dance they call it, like, marking your moves, where you don't do it to the fullest. Mm-hmm. So it comes off as not being as loud as the singer is. It's not as intense. So I agree with that piece of advice, to kind of maybe quit singing and start putting the emphasis more on a lip sync. As far as the video goes, it was a fantastic film. As far as the lip sync goes, for the reason of the singing and it not being maybe as intense in places, it wasn't as good a lip sync. But that being said, it was still a good video. And I think that doing a non-English song for a competition where a majority of the audience is English speaking is interesting, because you have to rely on your storytelling, and that's where Ianto thrives, is in the storytelling. So I think that was really, really well done.
Yeah, it was, definitely, it was very weird. When I was watching the video, I was just having a hard time deciding whether I actually liked it or not. And I agree with you saying that it's a great film, but not necessarily a fantastic lip sync. Because I feel like that's been a theme for him this entire season, is how strong his video editing skills are, and not so much, like, his actual lip syncing abilities.
I think Ianto has proven with his audition that he can sell a straight lip sync, but what I think has kind of changed is that the song choices still are maybe not selling him as well as they could. And I think that depending on the approach that he takes, whether it's choosing a concept first and finding a song to fit it, or finding a song and then building around it, he may want to try the other one depending on which his approach is normally, just to see if it maybe helps to frame him a little bit better song choice wise.
Yeah, I completely agree. But definitely for this week, I originally wrote down a toot for him, but after, like, really thinking about it, I didn't like the beginning half of the video more than I liked the second half of the video, and for that reason, I'm going to give him a boot.
Yeah, no, sadly for me this week as well, I will also be giving him a boot, but I just really, like, want to see the improvement, please. Your videos are good.
For me, it's a toot, because I do think that he had a really obvious crime, which is something that a few videos didn't do so well. And I think that even though the lip syncing itself was maybe a little bit quiet, it still was like a damn good lip sync.
Yeah, no, completely understand that. Moving on, we now have Jackknife, who did Take Me to Church by Hoyser. Mikey, would you like to start on this one?
Okay. I think that the characterization, which is Jack's strong suit, is always there. I think that the facial expression and the lip syncing is there. What I think was unfortunate about this video was the lighting paired with whatever the odd effect was with the camera made it very difficult to see Jack's mouth the entire time. It was kind of strange. Like it wasn't a positive effect that it had. It just kind of didn't make sense for what the theme was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had taken away the title card and asked me what the theme was, I would have said dark, I would have said religious, I would have said heresy, but I wouldn't have said crime, because the only crime that was there, other than what seemed to be mimicking blowing a horse, was like the list of crimes at the beginning, and I didn't see any of those transpire on video.
Yeah, I think that this video has I know that the video effect was weird. I really actually enjoyed it because it gave it an artistic, aesthetic quality. And I know that's what he was going for, was that this was going to be more, very super artsy. And I could tell by your performance that you really thought about what you were doing in your vision. But what needed to fix is, the way that you framed creating your vision for this character. I see all the ideas, in your head, wheels turning, and then it just wasn't executing because of how limited you made your lighting. I didn't see, like Mikey said, I didn't see your crimes in this. Your attitude was there. I could definitely tell that you weren't, a good person to be around. You were definitely shady. But I needed to see your crime physically. I think when you ripped the shirt off and it was the wife beater with the, I couldn't tell what it was, but choker, collar thing. I think that was you trying to manifest it, but I needed to see something, really strong because of how limited your lighting was in order to really understand what you were doing. And as much as you wanted this lighting, I think you should have brought the camera back about 2 to 4 feet and then surrounded yourself in a wall of candles. That would have really given you a heavily menacing kind of aesthetic, because the light coming from below you illuminates certain highlights or high points on your face, and it's going to create a menacing feeling. And then you wouldn't have had to add that really distorted video effect over it.
Menacing.
And then you could have actually then maybe more clearly articulated through your actions and props what your crime was.
Yeah, no, I will definitely have to agree with Meme on a lot of things he said. I thought the lip syncing was pretty good, though, personally, I thought it was pretty well done, but, I thought that the theme was, pretty lost in all the weird, more strange things in there. And it just, a lot of things I will have to agree with Meme on that. I totally see that you're trying to go for a more artsy approach on it, and I give, you all the credit for that, but I wish you had definitely done a little bit more with the theme, honestly. Because, it was lost.
Yeah. That being said, for me personally, I really respect, you taking a risk, and what you were trying to go for. And overall, I like this video, and while I didn't see a crime, I definitely got dark, and I got menacing, and I could tell by your characterization that he was a criminal. I didn't see the exact crimes that you were specifying, but still, for me, regardless of that, I gave this video a toot.
for me personally on this one, like, I just thought this week was totally, like, not really a lot of people's week, and for you, like, I'm sorry, ugh. Anyways, for this video, I'm giving you, like, a boot, but not a very strong boot. It's a very, very light boot. Because I just think you could do a little bit better than this, personally.
Yeah, it's a boot for me as well.
Alrighty. I like how we're all switching between one of us tooting a video, and then after that it's, you know, just all boots from everybody else.
You know, like, I don't mean
to... Don't apologize for critique.
Only one of us is allowed to be nice at a time.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on. Next was Gissy, who did Get Jinxed by Jerv. That's the only way I could think to pronounce this, is Jerv. Would you like to start us, Pastel?
Okay. For this... What is that look?
The look of you haven't started yet, I don't think. Or has it been me who hasn't started yet? Anyways, just talk about the video.
Anyways, for me, like, from what I saw in the video, first thing I noticed is that the sync was off, or, like, you know, you were a little bit off on lip syncing some of the words, definitely. Like, I'm trying to think about what happened in the video. I should put more detail into my notes, honestly.
Yeah, you should. I'm looking at yours, and they are not super detailed.
They're vague.
I really enjoyed this video. You've been on an incline, and I think this is really you hitting, like, a heavy stride now. The concept was simple and to the point. I really liked the bomb with the bow on it. It was super cute. The whole, like, premise that you were coming from, or, like, coming for, was really strong, and this song was not long at all, and you padded it out a little bit at the beginning, and yet this was just the amount of time you needed to deliver your full concept.
Okay, so I won't lie, Meme totally just reminded me about a few things I would like to talk about that I didn't write down because I'm stupid. Anyways, I actually, like, really thought the bomb was, like, really nicely made. It's a lot better than the pencils from last week, but... Pencils. Anyways, but no, like, it was simple, but I could tell, like, oh, that's supposed to be, like, a cute, like, little cartoony bomb, you know? And I thought the, like, whole premise of the video was actually, like, really fucking, like, cool. And actually kind of cute, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, you know, I'm sending this explosive video. Wait, what? But yeah, no, I thought the yeah. No,
Mikey, what were your thoughts on this? I think that one of the things that Gissy gets a lot of critique for is her mouth shapes and not exaggerating, and I think that was worked on a lot for this video. Mm-hmm. They were perfectly exaggerated, exactly what I would be looking for from her. The energy for the song choice was there. She had a character and stuck with it the entire video. There were a couple of moments where, when there weren't lyrics, it may have looked a little bit in her eyes like she dropped out, but she was able to recover and get back into it really easily. The crime was obvious. The prop was great. The ending was a great way to end it. I think that it was effective lighting. I think that that's something that she changed up, again, based on critique this week. And I just really appreciate how she continues to push herself week in and week out.
Yeah, she's definitely rapidly improving. For me, I really thought about it for a long time. I was like, well, is there anything that I can critique? Is there anything I would improve? And other than maybe there was, like, one or two words that I was like, maybe a little bit more exaggerated, I couldn't think of anything. So for me, this was a shoot.
You know, for me personally on this, like, I thought this was really fucking good. It's definitely like a toot for me. Like, you did really good this week.
Yeah, it's a total toot for me.
It's a really good video. Moving on, next is Andrea, who did I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh boy. Okay, please tell me I put some detailed notes in here.
Mikey, would you start us on this while Pastel looks at their notes?
What the fuck did
Absolutely. When this video started, I forgot who I had clicked on because I had no idea who the hell this person was standing in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so effective. The characterization was perfectly creepy. It set the tone, the way that where it was filmed, how it was filmed. Chills on that part. The one thing I said was that the crime, and I know that she built to it. What I wrote in my notes and then crossed out was, this is definitely pyromania, but I don't see arson. And then as soon as she lit the larger log and tossed it, and it lit up near where we would assume the house was, it became clear what the crime was. I thought that this was very sinister. This was a different approach than a lot of people did. I feel like a few people went kind of funny with it, and there was just absolutely no humor to this. This was just frightening, and I loved it.
For me, when I first started watching this video, I was completely horrified. I'm like, holy shit, I need to run away. And you did good on that. That means, I feared it. I think you did really fucking good with the lip syncing and, like, you know, like, just the fire and everything, and just, like, you made this, like, kind of, like, cute, cheery sounding song sound very horrifying, and I think that's, like, really fucking cool how you managed to do that. Also, for your, notes, I wrote down one fear. One fear.
Yeah. I thought this Drag King look was absolutely amazing, and it was not something that I was expecting from you this season. You have constantly just one-upped yourself from my preconceived ideas of where you would go, and then you do something completely out of left field, and I'm like, wow, well, I didn't see that coming. And I really thought that the concept was absolutely solid. For me, my only critique is that there was a couple of sounds and words that you started the phrase in the middle of the first word, and it happened a little bit more frequently than I was hoping for, but that was it. Other than that, this was absolutely a wonderful video and an absolute toot for me.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a toot for me. This was horrifying.
I'm going to give this video a shoot. I really think that this was far and away one of the better videos of the week.
Yeah. No, it's so good. Moving on. Next was Toni A Ward, who did the Dismemberment song by Blue Kid.
Okay, so something that you should know. Now, I know this one pretty well. I think Toni told me before we started filming that all the blood and, like, everything was real.
Yes, it was cow's blood, and then there was, like, a crushed up cow liver inside of the bowl.
Yeah, so one thing I want to say, that's fucking disgusting.
Sure is.
But the video itself, along with that, and kind of knowing that, that's pretty fucking rad. That's... holy shit. I thought the lip syncing was pretty fucking spot on, and also the song choice was very well for the crime, you know, like, pretty fucking good. Also just, like, I got, like, what you were doing, and, like, everything made sense. Anyways.
Yeah. I thought this song choice was fantastic and really different from some people. I know a lot of people did campy ideas, but you not only did a more campy idea, but then you went to a campy song to help you deliver that a little bit stronger, and it definitely showed. And your commitment, I think you the most this week showed an intense commitment to the competition. If you had asked me, like, hey, Meme, would you be willing to shove cow's blood, like, in your mouth and all over your face, like, to win Season 5, I would have said no. So the fact that you're willing to go to that level is extremely impressive.
You know, it made me want to vomit just a little bit.
Yeah, it made me very squeamish while I was watching.
But, props to you on that.
Toni, I don't know if Toni is committed or should be committed, maybe both. I think that starting out with the narrative with the news report was clever, and set up the tone really well. The way that the character was just completely like Stepford wife sweet and then just completely unhinged, I thought was kind of cool. It was a literal gag factor with the blood. I think, like, congratulations on winning Dragula this season, Toni.
Mm-hmm. What's her name? Cyber LaRose Hoomst.
Whoops?
Yeah, Cyber LaRose is shitting herself, literally and figuratively. You knocked over the bucket, which I know was unintentional, but you recovered really well. Normally I would say do another take, but with what you did, obviously that's not possible, so I think you made the best of that situation. The blood on your face and in your mouth made me absolutely nauseous. This was a toot for me.
For me, I honestly, like, because of the amount of dedication you actually put into this fucking video, I gave it a shoot. Because, holy shit, you legit just kind of ate cow's blood, which is disgusting. Good luck sleeping with that, but good video, good shit.
Yeah, the only critique that I would have had for you is I wish that you performed to the guy instead, or like the body on the table, rather than to us, the audience. I think it would have made a little bit more sense given the nature of the song, but that's minimal. It's just a little bit of world building, but this was a very, very, very high toot for me this week. Like, really superb job. Moving on, we next have Jenna, who did Blue Lights by Georgia Smith.
Okay. Oof.
I think that this is one of the best sets that you have built so far in Lip Sync for Your Life. I know that you started out and you were really just like dancing around your room and all that kind of stuff. And now you're here with this really nicely set up, like, light, and you're sitting down, and the picture is extremely clear, and I can see all of your words super easily, and I really commend you for how much you have grown in this competition, and I hope that you continue to grow after, this week. And I think that you have drastically improved your subtlety. I know last week a lot of people said you need to tone it down a little bit. And I think that you showed us that you can do that and still do it effectively. I know this song is supposed to serve as a prequel to your previous video because you accidentally predicted Crime Week because you are a telepathist, a psychic, and a wizard all together. But I didn't see a crime in this at all, personally. I saw the high-risk inmate thing, and then I saw the knife, and I was like, okay, I know from high-risk inmate that it's related to your last video, but then you said it was a prequel, and that made no sense to me, and then I actually didn't see the crime that you were getting arrested for, and you didn't really... There's ways that you can subtly build. I can only assume that your thing was supposed to be murder. I would have to go look at the video, like, list again to see what your crime was. But there's ways that you can subtly build murder and hint at it, and you didn't do that as well. Like, just because I see a knife doesn't mean that I know that you're a murderer. You could just be a person who really likes knives.
Yeah.
Water closet, eat your heart out. But yeah, it just, I wanted to see the crime itself, and then there was a lot of technical issues that made it look like you were having cuts in your video, but I know that you're too sporadic of a performer for those to have been cuts.
Yeah, no, for this video, like, I couldn't tell what the story was at all. I thought your lip syncing was pretty good, but other than that, like, there wasn't really much else. Like, you were just kind of sitting there like, yeah. Like, you looked a little kooky, but I couldn't really tell what was going on. Honestly.
Jenna never looks the same in any of her videos. So again, this was one of those, wait, who is this person again? Oh no, wait a minute, that's Jenna. She doesn't look anything like X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
When I originally, this was my favorite concept of the week. Let me explain that, because that sounds really weird right now. But the entire time, and showing the file with the high risk inmate, I thought, oh my god, somebody is doing the thing of, like, they're the analyst, or like they're the Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, like analyzing the criminal. And I think that was really brilliant. But then all of a sudden, you had the knife, and you were the one raising your hands when the siren started, and I was like, that's not the concept at all. So I was just left really confused. I think that having more control is a great thing, but it doesn't mean sitting down. I don't think that you have to necessarily be seated in order to be controlled. And yeah, the glitches that happened a couple times are just weird, and they look like cuts. And again, like Meme said, there's no way they could be with how frenetic energy you are as a performer. But just try and figure out what's causing that and try and eliminate it, because the last thing you want is for people to get the impression that you're skirting a rule, or that you could be manipulating the footage a little bit. I know you're not, but just make sure that you really get that unlocked so nobody gets the impression.
I think it may be that you have to render your video one quality lower than where you are right now. Because sometimes when you're rendering it too high of a quality, and your computer is just like, I don't know what to do with all of this, please kill me. So then it doesn't render the video properly.
Yeah, no. One thing I learned from Meme, which, you know, like, is just a general thing, like, when you sit down for a lip sync, you lose, like, a lot of energy immediately, you know? And I think that's kind of what happened, because, like, the energy here was a little dead. And I get that, you know, you weren't trying to put too much energy into this one, but, you know, like, there still needed to be a little something, but it wasn't quite there.
Yeah. For me, because I didn't see a crime, and you had the technical issues in the render of your video, this is a boot for me. But I know you, again, you are going to keep improving, and you are going to take this as a learning experience and keep growing, and I love you so much, Jenna.
You know, for me, this will also be a boot, but, you know, like, this is, like their first bad week.
Yeah, this is their first actually bad week, in my opinion. Or their first really off week. Because last week I liked their video, but they had a lot of technical issues.
Yeah, no.
It's a boot for me too, but I think that Jenna has really good instincts and just kind of needs to fine-tune some things, and this video would have been 10 times better.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, we are going to have KHRoxas, who did Car Radio by 21 Pilots. Mikey, would you like to start us off on this?
Sure. I think that the lip sync, as with KHRoxas, is always really good. The video, timeline-wise, I think that halfway through is when it picked up, and I thought the story really improved and was really interesting. My biggest issue was the song choice. I feel like at the beginning of the song, it's very low energy, and it kind of doesn't lend itself super well to lip sync itself. And the 20 seconds of just dead air staring at the camera, I think you could have cut the song or done something a little bit different. It just really was confusing to me. The green screen effect, I thought, was integrated so well that it was eerie. I would say be careful leaving screen and coming back. It's just one of those is a little
oof.
There's a way that
you just cut out a little bit. If you want to repeat that last thing.
Sure. I think that leaving your frame is a little edge of the rule. So if you're going to have an idea where something changes, either stay still and have it change, find a way for it to change around you, or drop where you're not completely out of frame. Just one of those, like, and that's a personal thing. I know that there was no funny business with that. I'm not trying to imply that at all, but just like with Jenna, just kind of making sure that appearances and perception isn't that anything nefarious is going on. I just really, all in all, I really question the song choice. The crime was evident, but at the same time, it took half the video to get there.
Yeah, for me, it took me a bit to realize that your car was actually green screened. I really was impressed by how strong your green screen ability is, and I want you to teach me all your tips and tricks for that, because boy golly gee, would I like to be able to green screen that well. And I think that the story you told was good, and it was a great choice for this week. There was just a few more issues than I was hoping from you for this week. It's definitely something different, and I know that you're stepping outside of your wheelhouse with this, because you were definitely more the campy, funny lip syncer. I didn't understand your characterization that you created. There's that 20 seconds almost where you're just staring at the camera like blankly, and I'm like, oh, so I didn't see your character in your eyes, but if anything, I was going to be like, oh, well, he's like the very like quiet, mellow, like psychopathic kind of guy. And then as soon as the next like verse starts, you're immediately like gripping your hair and ripping it out. And I'm like, whoa, this isn't the same character from 10 seconds ago. And then your characterization was just weird all the way through. There's a way that you can do, and I'm not good at it. I tried to do a psychopath and I got eliminated, so I can't be the end-all be-all of what a psychopath is. But there's a way that you're supposed to build it that is gradual. As much as a psychopath is sporadic and you don't understand what their actions are, all of their actions have a method and a purpose for why they are doing that thing. And it's just a distortion from our social norms that creates that, like what we would consider like a psychopathic like action or tendency. You didn't have that. You just went like from 0 to 10 really fast, and that's not necessarily how somebody who is a psychopath would act as much. They'd maybe be at a 0, and then they'll go to like a 4, and then they'll build up to a 6, and then an 8, and then a 10, but their 10 is absolutely like a 50 for everybody else. It's just a different scale that they are using, and I wish that your characterization choices weren't so drastically different. And yeah, I know that Mikey had touched on it. I know you didn't break the one take rule, because I know that you wouldn't do something like that because you have been in this community long enough, but don't even give yourself the opportunity to be accused of it, because you never want those kinds of things on your track record, especially when you get to endgame in lip sync for your life. You don't want those kinds of things counting against you, because those are things that people are going to remember and be like, oh, but then do they deserve the crown? You never want that kind of thing lingering on your profile.
Yeah, no, for this video, like, I thought the premise was very interesting, you know? I really like how you still managed to do the video that, okay, let me rephrase. I'm sorry. You still managed to do a video that wasn't campy fun realness, and I thought you did pretty okay. I will have to agree with Meme on the psychopath part. Like, the only thing I could think of is that, like, I think you were trying to go for the character psychopath that's, like, you know, like, they kind of just sort of lost it, you know, at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were trying to prevent themselves from, like, you know, going to that 100, like you said, but eventually they just snapped.
Mm-hmm.
But I could totally see, like, how people wouldn't get that and how that wouldn't work. And, like, you know, I guess I worked against you a little bit. I won't lie, I thought the video editing was a little weird, personally. I do like what you were trying to do, though, and I give you props for that. But it was still a little off. Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, because of the really weird characterization, especially, this is going to be a boot for me.
For me, personally, I am also going to give it a pretty soft boot. But, you know, like, I still thought there were some really interesting things in there still, you know. Like, I thought the editing, despite, you know, all the weirdness was kind of interesting.
Yeah, as well.
It's a boot.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because you cut out as soon as you said it. I figured that's what you were saying, but I never know. But yeah, moving on. We have Julez Osco, who did Dear Mr. President by Pink.
I know what the video is, and the only thing I wrote down was shoot.
Yeah, this, for me, was absolutely beautiful as a message. When I had a negative perception going into it, because Shady had just written that your crime was political protest, and I was like, oh no, somebody stretched the theme too far. Like, I get the idea, but you would have to be very smart in the way that you were doing it in order for it to make sense. Not only did you do it, like, very smartly, it was just, it was such a subversion from what you would expect from this week, and that's going to be a risky situation to put yourself in, because you had the option to just, murder somebody, or commit arson, or something like that, right? And you chose to take the way, way, way more difficult path for yourself. But you did it very expertly. I really enjoyed the emotion that you brought to the sink itself. I was actually tearing up at one point.
Me too. I was actually on the verge of just crying because, like, how intense the emotion was, and holy shit, it was good.
Yeah, your framing is gorgeous. The energy, the performance, the meaning, it's raw, it's powerful. I did ask you before filming this if you were Mexican-American. You said that you're first generation, and I don't think that if you weren't, that it would have subtracted from the idea. But knowing that just gives it a little bit extra impact, I would say. But even regardless, I just thought that the message that you were bringing, your crime being so literal to what we're in today, it was extremely powerful for me.
I actually had the idea to do this song this week too, but my interpretation was going to be vastly different from what Julez did. Julez is probably the best emotional lip syncer that we have in the competition. He has a way to just very naturally find the heart of whatever song he's doing and just completely embody that. And I think that that's a brilliant talent to have. I like that it wasn't as literal as some of the other ones. My confusion lies in, is the crime... Obviously, the crime is what the administration is doing, but some of the headlines didn't really match with what was going on lyrically, or it just kind of seemed a few things seemed a little bit out of place in terms of the visuals that he added to it, and so I question if some of those were needed. So it's more of an issue of not fitting versus and just not kind of telling exactly the story that I think Julez was aiming to tell in places. I think overall it was a strong video though, and it's a 2 for me.
Yeah, I interpreted the crime was just him existing as a Mexican person in America today because of, like, Trump's policies. Not so much Trump's policies themselves, which are crimes, but I thought that that's where he was going for. I do agree. I didn't need some of the headlines because you're such a raw performer that you should just be able to rely on what you know is your instincts and just go for it. But for me, like, it's been a long time since a video in Lip Sync for Your Life has brought me to almost crying, so this is a shoot for me.
You know, like, you already know it's a shoot for me, but I just want to say, holy shit, this was fucking amazing. I am so glad you did this song and all the things that you put into it. Please, this was just so fucking good.
Moving on, our next song is Trying to Kill Myself, who did Icicles by the Scary Jokes. Mikey, would you like to start again?
Sure. China is another person that I think is just getting stronger as each video goes on. I think that this is definitely the most confident and the most connected to the camera China has ever been. The set told the story immediately, and I think that the introduction worked really well. This is the first song choice since I want to say it was Paramore. Am I right?
Are you talking about his Namesake Week video?
Yes.
Yes, it was a Paramore song. Caught in the Middle by Paramore.
Yes. This is the first song since that I felt has been truly what and who China is. I think that lip syncing, like having the knife, okay, everybody did knives this week. Not everybody, literally, but almost everybody. But I think lip syncing into it kind of took it to a funny place. You lost a tiny bit of energy at the end, but I think overall this was China's best video.
For me, I honestly really love the video. Just the aesthetics and, like, you know, the lip sync and everything was pretty fucking good, you know? Also the wall in the background, like, the story was there, you know, like, this fucking crazy person is about to McMurder someone, so good job on that. Also, like, I really like how in the lip syncing, you almost seemed, like, a little robotic at some parts, like, this person's, like, fucking crazy, like, kind of losing their mind there a bit, and that's pretty fucking good. Also, I would like to mention just the little ending part, you know, like, after the main video, where just their necklace
the necklace shattering was so sad. I wrote a note that I loved your outfit so much, but God, I wish that necklace didn't break, because it was so pretty, and it just really completed that look.
It just yeeted itself. It was what a tragedy.
What were you going to say, Mikey?
I was going to say that it Chi-Chi devaned all over that main stage.
Yeah.
Bye.
It was weird because I knew the song was Icicles, I just didn't know who it was by, and I used Shazam and it came up as Horizon by Leviathan, and then it came up as Icicles, which was very weird. But I just thought that was like a weird side thing that I noticed that was really funny. I thought that this was absolutely wonderful. I love this video. The song was appropriate, like, lengthwise. It didn't drag on. It wasn't too short. It really let you develop a character that was really insane. And that ending was fantastic. As far as I could tell, it was you stabbing yourself. I couldn't tell who you were stabbing exactly, but my best guess was that you were stabbing yourself, and I thought that was a very impactful message that you were delivering. I just wish that you had filled the whole frame of your space that you were filming in with the scene that you were creating. More red string taped up and more, like, paint or marker on the wall or whatever that was. And I know that's a lot to do, but if you take that extra, even generously, 30 minutes to fill that scene, it would have dragged me in even further into that character, and then I would have absolutely just been completely committed to this video only.
You know, I still love this video otherwise, crazy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I will say rip that wall if you really did stab it, just rip.
Rest in peace, wall.
Yeah, but for me, I'm gonna give it a good old toot. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, this is a toot for me, easily.
Yeah, and this is an easy toot for me as well. Moving on, next was Boy Named Queen, who did Shy Ronnie 2 by The Lonely Island featuring Rihanna.
Would you like to go first?
Yes. The song amazes me that Rihanna would partner up with The Lonely Island to do a song. I love Rihanna's music a lot, so to hear her do something like this, I'm just like, one, icon, legend, and superstar. Two, that's wild to me, because her music has a certain tone, and she didn't lose it. But this isn't about Rihanna singing with The Lonely Island. This is about your video, and I love your video just as equally as I love hearing Rihanna swear like that in one of her songs. Booty Jams was in the room while I was watching this, and they haven't really watched a ton of videos this season. I don't know how many they've watched, if any. And they said, I love him in his Goku-ass shirt, which I think is a testament to how powerful you are as a performer, that they have not watched any of your videos before. They haven't watched many, if any, of the videos before, but they immediately gravitated towards you because of how strong of a performer you are. You bring that pure, just campy, fun energy that I personally love to try to bring to all of my videos. You do it better than I do, I think, and I'm jealous and I want your skills. So I'm going to fly to Texas and absorb your lip syncing powers like Dementor style, just float above your bed.
Jesus Christ. Just wake up in the middle of the night, just memes like T-posing over your bed, just absorbing.
Yes, absorbing all of your power. And then Toni will be happy because then maybe she'll win this week. As your little feud is going on, like joke feud. But I know that we have said before that you are the bridesmaid and never the bride. And I don't know if you will hit bride this week, but I see you reaching for it. And you reaching to become the bride and win a week is already making your video so strong. This is the first video that you've done that had a really solid concept. And it absolutely brought it to that level that I was just absolutely floored with it. If anything, I wish that this wasn't in black and white. And I know that we were talking and you did it because you had like a really wonky green screen effect that wasn't working for you in iMovie. So I can't wait to see what you do. Well, you can't do anything next week. In future challenges. Because now that you know how to green screen in the way that I did green screening, I can't wait to see what you do with it. But yeah, absolutely, this is fantastic.
Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. What you said about being a bridesmaid, never a bride, I think Boy Named Queen should make sure that he has a veil and he has somebody to walk him down an aisle, because for me this is the best video of the week. And not only that, it's maybe my favorite thing that's been done this season. And I think that the reason is that it's such a risk to do the things that he did. To do something that is funny on a week that could tend to be more serious. To do something that is split screen and be on camera twice for the duration of a song, and have to be two characters at once, and have not only a spotless lip sync on both, but also to have the characters feel like they're existing in the same place. The one thing I would say is, if possible, the next time you do a sync where you're two people, integrate them without the black bar, because I think that having both in the same frame would have made this even better. But that being said, I didn't mind the black and white because to me it read like the bank security footage, and especially since the camera quality wasn't as good as other weeks that you've had, I think it kind of added to that mythos in my head and sold it a little bit more. But this is exactly what I've been wanting from Boy Named Queen from the jump. This is a great concept. The characterization, like I said, was perfect. I literally have nothing else to say but shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot.
Oh my god, I hope that he gets that veil and walks down the aisle. For me, this is a toot. It's a really high toot. I absolutely love your video. I cannot wait. I hope, as much as I have a different person who I would want to win this week, I hope that you can get the bride. I really hope.
That veil better be Gucci, by the way. I really like this video. Your anime shirt gave me life. I'm like, yep, they got anime. That's fucking great. I thought the lip syncing was very good. I'm not sure if I said anything on this. I'm so sorry. I thought everything was really fucking good. It's a definite high 2 for me. Good fucking job.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic video. Last video, as I write down timestamps, because if anybody has noticed, there's timestamps down below. Is Lala Chatte, who did my Type by Saint Motel. Do you know enough about this video to talk about it first?
Barely. You should go first.
I'll let Mikey go first, since I think I started first last video.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so, Lala. The introduction that set up the concept, I think, was brilliant. What I think is kind of intelligent as well as what you've done is you were 70s for funk, and you were kind of, like, video dating doesn't exist anymore, so it was a little bit of an 80s type concept. And I think that that's kind of smart, where every time that you're this other person, because I feel like the person that you were in Shaft isn't Lala, and neither is this person. So we'll call him Lulu. Every time that you're Lulu, to do it in some sort of alternate universe, I think is kind of fun. You had great energy. This is your most accurately exaggerated lip sync yet. I think that your story could have been a little smoother executed, but I like that you had an obvious crime and that it was... Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. This is a great video.
Yeah, for me, the energy is a 10, the performance is a 10, the words are a 10. I'm confused by the narrative. So, I get that your thing was abduction. So, am I the person who's being abducted as the viewer? Is that what I am watching? Or am I watching a videotape of you abducting, like, a video camera? Because you are lip-syncing to a video camera. You framed this all as a VHS recording. But then your crime is abduction, so then I don't understand why you're lip-syncing to a camera or singing to a camera as this character, because you can't abduct a video with, like, chloroform, which is what I think that the bottle was supposed to represent, even though it could, like, clearly it was, like, isopropyl alcohol. Like, you're trying to chloroform a camera, but am I the viewer? But then you have this, like, video filter over it. So it really confused me, and I think that in this week it hurt you for me personally, because this is such a story-driven week, and if I'm confused about your story, then automatically I don't think that you're hitting that level that I'm looking for.
Okay, so, for me, first off, the camera is clearly a bionicle, like, duh, anyways. I want bionic.
The camera is sentient, and this is WALL-E.
WALL-E? Okay, but anyways, for me, like, I thought the video was honestly kind of very boring and a little bland, honestly. Like, I thought you could have done more with the theme abduction. And, like, it's okay. The lip syncing was pretty okay, and, like, the story was not the best, personally, for me, so I honestly gave it a boot.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this a lot. I literally sat at my desk for 20 minutes debating if I was going to toot or boot this. Because I love this as a video, as a performance. I love you as a drag queen so much. You're so talented. You know how to keep my eyes engaged on you for the entire duration of a song. But the story was just too off for me. I couldn't tell you. I could tell that this was a crime, so you had an advantage against other people who I couldn't necessarily tell what their crime was. It just felt for me like I just couldn't tell who I was as a viewer, and you really have to make that clear in a video format like this, and for that reason alone I'm booting this video. But that's not to say that your performance was bad, like your energy and your lip syncing, that was all good. I just wanted a clearer story, and I don't want to see a video filter again from you next week, because I think this is the second one in a row.
No more video filters, no.
Is this the start of a rant? Should I wait?
Go ahead if you want to go.
I think that this was kind of going back to what the narrative, to me it read like the camera operator was being kidnapped, so it was like we were watching one of those creepypastas, that like a story that may or may not have really happened. So that, for me, that's what I enjoyed about it, but I do understand that it wasn't super, super clear, and I get that, but for me it was a 2.
Yeah, it's completely fine. I literally was going to toot it just because of how good the energy was, but I'm only judging this because it's a story week that way, but I love you so much, Lala. Are we ready to move on to top toots of the week, y'all?
Top 2 of the week. Hold on, let me okay. Top 2 of the week, clearly for me, is Julez. Like, you deserve her on so many levels. Like, keep going. That shit was good shit.
Yeah, my top 2 also was Julez. I just felt like the message was so powerful in the time that we are in right now. I also didn't get to mention this. I thought it was interesting because I know a lot of people have been using Trump's presidency to defend George W. Bush's to a certain extent. And this song was written for George W. Bush's presidency, but it shows the parallels between the two so clearly. It was a lot. I think that you made all those decisions deliberately. I just watch out with your video editing. You're such a good performer. You don't need all those effects on the screen. But absolutely, my top 2 of the week goes to you.
My top 2, no surprise, is going to be Boy Named Queen. For next season, this is going to be one of the videos that I put into that what is required viewing. And especially if anybody plans on doing something that is heavy on side-by-side or even with multiple characters, Boy Named Queen hit it out of the park for me this week.
I'm so glad. I don't think Boy Named Queen has gotten top 2 to the week yet,
Are
so
you
I'm
serious?
so happy for him.
I'm so sorry, boy.
No, it's always that bridesmaid and never the bride thing. I'm so happy that Mikey just made him the bride, and that means that they're married.
I don't think that's legal.
I mean, our registration, our registry is literally one item. It is a sports ball of your choice from Dick's.
Just one, though. Just one ball.
One.
Don't talk about Dick's Sporting Goods, I swear to God.
Anyways, thank you for listening to Meme Cuisine. Mikey, thank you for coming on.
Thank
you
so
for having me.
We will see you maybe next week. I'm not sure if we're filming Fun Week or if I'm going to my boyfriend's place and giving up on filming for a week to do my finals. Shh. But
I might make a video. Maybe.
Pastel might be making a video. That is iconic.
Maybe. It's gonna be shit post, so don't expect much.
Mikey, do you have any Fun Week plans yet?
I may do a Vine. Just one.
Just one Vine.
Just one.
That is perfectly fine. Which Vine? Or do you not want to spoil?
I mean, it depends on if I cook chicken or if I find chickens.
What the hell?
Look at all of those chickens.
That's me.
Anyways, thank you for listening to Meme Cuisine, and tune in next challenge. See you later. Bye.